Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message specifically for those of you who are the chosen, who are well aware of the fact that you have been called to do something in terms of whether it's healing, um, as a healer, as a teacher, or as a leader. Okay, so this message is specifically for those of you. I want to start off with a dream that I had recently. It's very short, but it was very. It spoke volumes. Okay, I was able to quick pick up on the message pretty quickly. So in this dream, I was in a room, very large room, full of many people. Probably well over 100 people was in this room, and everybody was laying around. They had like a pillow and a blanket, and everybody was just relaxed and just watching some sort of film. Um, but I wasn't into the film because in the 3D I don't really watch TV like that. So it has to really be something that captivates or, captures my attention rather. So there was a young boy who started having an asthma attack. He had to be about maybe 5 years old, and his mother and father, they walked through this entire crowd of people and they ended up coming straight to me. And so they came to me, and the father specifically, he was like, my son is having an asthma attack and I can't find his inhaler. Can you help me find his inhaler? And so the first thing that I thought, kind of like in panic mode, was I need to tell everybody to get up and to start helping to look for this asthma, this inhaler, okay? But then I quickly retracted that thought because I was told, no, don't say anything. Just get up and go look for the inhaler. So I got up, and I didn't even know where I was looking. I didn't even know why this person came to me. But it seems like just intuitively I knew where to find it, because I got up, I walked over all of these people. I went all the way across on the other side of the room, picked up the first pillow and blanket that I saw, and there was the inhaler. And then I handed it to the man, and he was able to quickly get his son back in alignment in terms of his breathing. So that's the end of the dream. So what I gathered from this message in terms of you all is that this means that there's many of you who have a divine assignment. And at this time, you don't know what that looks like. You just feel that you're being called to do something. You feel that all of these changes that are happening in your life is guiding you towards a path that ultimately is going to lead you into your destiny. Maybe you've always felt like you had a position as a healer, a teacher, or a leader of some sort, but you just don't know what that looks like. And maybe you question, like, how am I supposed to find these people, or how are these people supposed to find me? Where do I begin? I'm only one person of 7 billion, over 7 billion people on the planet. So where do I fit in here? And how is the world going to recognize me and my position? And so I strongly suggest that, based on that dream, what it was telling me was that in the time of need, for those people who are in need of your particular gift, your particular ability to heal as a vessel, they're going to find you. They are going to find you. You don't have to go out looking for them. They're going to naturally be gravitated to you, because it's going to be something about the energy that you project, something about what you have been built and divinely created to do. They're going to see it, and they're going to recognize it, and they're going to seek you out in the right timing, in divine timing. And so your only position at this point is to prepare and to accept the call. Take the call, do the work to establish yourself, and just be prepared for many changes to happen as the Most High structures things for, to send those people to you that need you at the right time. And so I feel like, for the most part, to be able to take away from that dream is that, the people, that the father that came to me specifically, he saw something in me, because again, even in the dream, I was not paying attention to the movie, but everybody else that was there, they was, snuggled up, they was cozy, and they was very fixated on whatever they was watching. And so I suppose it was something about my energy and the fact that I was not consumed by what was happening in the media, but I was more so just kind of just in my own zone. That's what drew this person, this father and mother, to me, in knowing that I was the right person for them to ask. And then also I feel that I had two options in that moment. My first mind, which I feel it was really my lower self, said, tell everybody to get up because you're going to need everybody to help you to find this. But then my higher self, that divine message that I get through the Most High God, said, don't say nothing to nobody. Get up, and I'm going to guide your feet exactly where you need to go. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. And you are the one that has been chosen to bring the breath of life, to assist in bringing the breath of life back to this child who is gasping for air. And that's exactly what happened. And so I could have done anything. I could have made the decision to say, I don't even know where to find it. Don't you see all these people here? Or I could have went with my first thought that came, through a little bit of anxiety, that said, okay, get everybody and tell everybody to look. But what could have happened was, with all of that chaos and with so many people that was asleep, so to speak, they could have definitely caused more chaos, and we would not have never found the inhaler, because their energy, it wasn't meant for them to take on that specific assignment. So I was called out. I took the assignment in spite of my hesitation, and I was divinely guided and directed exactly where I needed to go in order to help those who sought me out. And so I feel like that's what you all need to prepare for, rather than being concerned about who, when, where, why, how. Just know that everything is going to play out in divine timing and divine order, and it is destined for you to take this path. You're only being called to take the call and to be prepared to take the steps necessary to help those who come to you, because they're going to recognize you. And so I feel like for some of you, what might be holding you back is others' opinions, okay? Because when we take the narrow path, it looks nothing like what most people would consider to be a healer, a teacher, or a leader. We are in the age of Aquarius, and so it's not the cookie cutter version of what people are accustomed to. And so those of you who are chosen, your position of leadership, or as a healer, as a teacher, is going to take you down a path where you have to literally die to a lot of your belief systems. You're going to have to die to your ego, your carnal nature, lack mentality, all of these things, in order to prepare for such a powerful position, because you are here to help establish the kingdom, but you're helping people to first establish themselves as the kingdom within. And so obviously that means that when you have such a powerful position, then that means that you yourself have to first be your own practitioner. And so you yourself have to heal and be prepared to be transparent. And so I feel like in that dream, I already had been checked out of the media, which symbolized that I had already done some work to not be codependent on finding external means of pleasure or entertainment outside of myself, unless it was something that was feeding me and enhancing my evolution. And so that's a part of that transformation. Everyone else that was there was very focused and captured by the media. And so that strongly indicated that they was not in the same place as I was spiritually, mentally. And so the people who needed the help, they recognized that right away. And that's why they was drawn to me. That's one of the reasons why they was drawn to me. So it was a clear indicator that I had already done some work on myself in order to be checked out of those things that the majority would be captured by. So for you all, the transformation is very necessary. And so allowing yourself to die to your ego means that you're no longer overly concerned or focused about other people's opinion about what your divine path looks like. Okay, so some of you may currently have positions, that you've been working at, and it's time that it's so many signs and synchronicities that have been coming in to show you that that particular aspect of your life is coming to a close. And you know that you're being guided to do something different. You know even that your position is a teacher, a healer, or a leader, but you just don't know what that looks like per se. And you might be overly focused in on, well, how am I going to make an ends if I walk away from this particular career path? What am I going to do in order to get people to recognize me? You know, what's going to make me stand out from the rest? But those are things that are feeding the ego. And this is why it's so important to die to the ego, to go within and to do the work, to face those insecurities, to face those dark sides of yourself that stops you from taking the leap of faith based on too many questions that you might have that's irrelevant to your position. Because all of those things are going to naturally flow to you when you step into your calling, okay? The security, the financial stability, the people who are supposed to be the people that you are being prepared to help, all of these things will come to you naturally, including the platform or the position. Everything is going to come. The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, what your position looks like. All of these things are going to naturally come to you. All you have to do first is take the call. And so that initial part of moving into your purpose can be a little heavy, because you may find that you have to walk away from a lot of people, places, and things in order to take the narrow path. Most of the time, that's what it looks like. And so I feel like for some of you, you might still be maybe very focused on the judgment of others, how other people may view you if you take this calling. And if you take the leap of faith towards doing your natural gifts, as a healer, as a teacher. Some of you might even get into doing things such as what I do when it comes to using tarot to help people to, dive into their understanding of what's happening with them and picking up energetically what's going on. That's one of the measures that I have been gifted to help others to heal and to awaken to their own divinity. Some of you may have very vivid dreams that bring a lot of messages, and you've always had these dreams and you've seen them and you've watched them come into fruition, but you've never utilized it in a way where it's like, okay, it's my calling to use these dreams as a way of bringing messages forward to the masses. And so some of you are withholding these things. It's like you're keeping it close to your chest. You're keeping these gifts close to your chest out of fear of judgment. And so you're not opening up to being the most transparent version of yourself as a result of that. And so this is where you end up taking a lot of hard hits until you actually fully jump into your position. Because at this point, it's like you have the free will to say no, of course. But life, the Most High has it structured where life will continue to bring in different lessons until you say, I surrender to my position here. I surrender to what I've been created to do. I surrender to the Most High God and what the Most High has created me to do. I'm no longer going to fight against this. I'm no longer going to be resistant to my calling. I'm going to step into it, and I'm going to take the leap of faith, unconcerned about all of those fears that I had. I'm putting those on the back burner, and I'm just going to jump. In that moment, your feet will be guided exactly where you need to go. Just like me being guided to that inhaler and knowing exactly what to do in that moment, even though when they came to me, I felt like I had no clue until I shut down my ego and I opened up my understanding on more of a spiritual level. And at that point, I followed suit with what I was told to do, and I was able to carry out my assignment in healing and helping to save the life of someone else. And so don't be overly concerned about these things. You are destined to take this leap of faith, and just know that when you start putting in the work to heal yourself and to step into your position, your hard work is going to pay off. That's you planting the seeds. Every measure that you take to heal yourself and to ready yourself and to position yourself for your calling is a seed that's planted in the spiritual realm towards your harvest. And even when it comes to you stepping into your purpose, you might find that initially this is the time for you to give rather than expecting to receive. You may not jump right in and start, and the harvest is just, it comes pouring in. You may be called to put in that 10%, which is you being of service to others without the expectation of receiving this abundant harvest that is stored up for you. Okay, so it's like that time frame where you step into your calling and you're being built. It's like your gifts are being built. That muscle, that spiritual muscle, as a healer, a teacher, or a leader, is being built in that time, in that initial time of you stepping into your calling. And so the harvest is not going to be necessarily handed to you right away, because that's a part of seeing how committed you are to the process. Are you coming in to do this because you know that this is your divine assignment and people are going to benefit from your light? Or are you stepping in to do this with the expectation that right away you're going to receive some sort of material example, or some sort of material material harvest right away, to be an example of your gift actually manifesting? Okay, or you're too, I'm trying to say that you might be overly focused in on expecting a material harvest as a result versus what this is doing for the person that you are actually helping. That in and of itself is a harvest. That in and of itself is the blessing, because this is what keeps you on path. This is what keeps you on track. When it's like, okay, things are not picking up as fast as they can in terms of the financial part of it, but I am seeing that what I'm doing is actually beneficial to others. And so that is rewarding in and of itself. And so when you stay focused in on why you're doing it versus doing it with the expectation of receiving something right away, then your abundance on the other side becomes that much more plentiful. Because that's you, even in that moment, you're still planting the seeds towards your ultimate harvest, because you're coming in with this heart of giving versus this heart of receiving. And so some of you might be kind of resistant to the transformation process, because you know that there's certain shadow work that needs to be done. There's certain things that you need to really pay attention to or look within to sweep out. And so you might be resistant to taking the calling, because it's like, I'm going to have to give up this. I'm going to have to give up that. You might have to give up certain people in your life. And you might even find that for some of you, if you've been in very toxic relationships specifically, sometimes that's one of the hardest things to walk away from when you have a divine calling and a purpose, because you might, more than likely, you might be partnered up with someone who would be in direct opposition of you taking this calling. And so you hide your gift, or you reject the offer for an extended period of time for the sake of maintaining a connection that's not healthy for you in the first place. And so that's a large part of codependency that needs to be healed. And so being very intentional about healing yourself from these things and stepping into the highest version of yourself, the most divine version of yourself, is very important before you could take this jump. You want to make sure that you've cleared out all of that energy that does not serve you, so that you can be prepared to help other people to do the same, whatever that looks like for you. But you can't go in with all of these wounds and all of these blockages internally and expect to be an effective healer, teacher, or leader. And so I feel like for many of you, you're being called to allow yourself to go through this time of solitude. Go through this time of solitude, because it's going to be very healing and beneficial to you in terms of you being able to study up in certain areas, and to allow yourself to go within, to really gain that divine connection with the Most High and your spiritual team, and to do the work, to prepare yourself for your calling. And so, yeah, this will be your time to really build your spiritual strength. For some of you, this is also a time to be very focused and intentional about forgiveness, forgiving people from your past, whether it's past lovers, family members, friendships, co-workers, whatever the case may be. Because if you have unforgiveness in your heart, then naturally your heart chakra will be blocked. And a blocked heart chakra, you cannot function as a healer, teacher, or a leader. You can step into that role, but you won't be effective in actually healing the next person when your heart chakra is blocked, because you need that energy of love in order to, you need to be able to project that energy, whether it's through spoken word, through healing, with your hands, or whatever the case may be, whatever your calling is, that heart chakra energy needs to be present in order for you as a vessel to be the healer that you have been called and created to be. So unforgiveness automatically blocks off the heart chakra. So definitely, you might do something like writing, burning, and releasing. I destroy and I release all energy of unforgiveness in spirit and in flesh, and you burn it. And then you might light you a candle behind that just says simply, I forgive, in spirit and in flesh, and allow that to burn all the way through. But I strongly sense that this is the time of making some very, very clear decisions, okay? And being less concerned about other people's opinion of your purpose or what you've been called to do. Less concerned about those who might talk about you or gossip about you or speak negatively against you for taking this divine path, because ultimately you are a spirit having a human experience. And so this becomes less about them and more about you just stepping into your divinity, so that not only do you evolve in this lifetime and in the next lifetimes, infinitely growing, you want to be sure that you don't leave this earth without serving out your divine purpose, that you don't grow old feeling as if I should have taken the calling, I should have done what I knew I was divinely guided to do, but because of others' opinions, I did not take the call. And so that's a large part of breaking generational curses. When you take the call, that breaks generational curses, because you're no longer confounded or concerned about maintaining a position or a title or an expectation or certain conditioning in order to appease others. You say, no, I'm going to take my calling. And so then your offspring and those people who follow you, even those people that you heal or those people that you lead or teach, they also benefit from your courage. And it will influence them to also do the same when they are called, if they are placed into a position to be a teacher, healer, or a leader. So that's strongly what I feel like my dream was about. For those of you who know that you have a divine calling, just consider that. Consider, doing what's necessary to clear your energy, write, burn, and release. Be very intentional on a daily basis. When it comes to healing yourself and releasing all insecurities, all fears of other people's opinions, all fear of lack and not having enough or not being able to attract to you abundance, fear of taking the call because you don't know what the position looks like, you don't know who you're supposed to be drawn to or who's going to be drawn to you, how they're going to find you. Leave all of those things behind, because that's all ego driven, and that's functioning from your root and your sacral chakra. You want to function from your heart chakra, from your throat, from your third eye chakra and your crown chakra. These chakras are all your higher chakras, which allows you to step into your divine calling and being more balanced when it comes to your spiritual nature and the practical things in life. So you want to definitely be able to balance out spirituality and practicality. But I feel like because your divine calling is more spiritual, right now you're being called to step out of the practical things and get more focused on the spiritual aspect of who you are and what you've been called to do, and seeing life from a spiritual perspective. So diving into that area and allowing yourself to become fully submerged. And of course, obviously, you want to stay grounded. So you want to get out into nature. You want to ingest fruits and vegetables. You want to do these things to stay grounded. Because as you continue to evolve higher in your spiritual understanding, it can get a little, it can get a little dizzy in the spiritual realm, because you begin to see things so clearly that it's like that veil, once it's lifted off of your eyes, you can't unsee. And so you want to make sure that you stay grounded in that regard, so that you stay balanced. But I strongly suggest this is your time. I feel like whoever you are, whoever this message is for, this is your time to take the calling, and just know that you have everything that you need from within. It's already engraved in your soul and in your spirit and in your DNA, everything that you need. All you need to do is take the call and prepare yourself and do what's necessary to purge and to cleanse, so that you are transparent in your energy and you've done the work to heal your first student, your first client, your first patient, whatever you want to call, is going to be you. And once you've done the work on yourself, then you will be prepared to do it for others. So that's what I got for you all. I love you. If you want a private reading from me, you can always email me. If you desire to order my oils, you can always email me. And I will talk to you all next time.